Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are transporting you to a setting that is sticky, uncomfortable, and just absolutely dripping with tension. I want you to picture this. It's Nassau, the Bahamas, present day. It is incredibly hot outside, you know, the kind of humid heat that hits you like a physical wall the moment you step out the door.
Yeah, a total blanket of heat. But we're not at the beach. We're not at a resort.
No, not at all. We are inside a cramped, stifling police interrogation room that, I mean, probably hasn't been painted since the 1980s.
Totally. The air conditioning is broken. There's a ceiling fan just lazily cutting through the thick air. And the whole place, it just smells like stale coffee and sweat.
It's the classic noir setup, but, you know, with a tropical twist. And sitting on one side of this metal table is Detective Vincent Laporta.
And he's a veteran, cynical, tired. He's popping cherry lifesavers into his mouth one after another because he's trying to quit smoking.
Right. And that sugar rush is the only thing keeping him focused. And sitting across from him is the man we are here to talk about today. His name is Alfred Logan, but everyone calls him Alfie.
And Alfie is a study in contradictions. He's in his late 50s, tanned skin, wearing this like mismatched outfit, a mustard-colored shirt, navy pants, no socks.
He looks like a tourist who maybe had a bit of a rough night.
Exactly. But if you look closer, you see the tremors. You see the pallor beneath the tan. Alfie is dying. He has a degenerative neurological disease that is slowly shutting his body down.
But despite all of that, despite being in police custody, despite, you know, dying, he is completely calm. He has this eerie serenity that is just freaking Detective Laporta out.
Because Alfie isn't there for a drunk and disorderly charge. He's there because he just pulled off the impossible.
He walked into the biggest casino on the island, walked right up to the roulette wheel, and bet on a single number, 36 red.
And he won. Which, you know, it happens, sure.
It happens. But then he let it ride. He bet on 36 red again.
And he won again.
And then, and this is where the casino security started just losing their minds, he did it a third time. 3 straight single number wins on 36 red.
He walked out of there with over $2 million in cash and chips.
I mean, the statistical probability of that is so low, it's basically zero. Laporta knows it's a scam. He knows it. He just cannot figure out how Alfie did it.
Right. There were no devices, no magnets, no accomplices at the table, nothing. So he's pressing Alfie for a confession. He just wants the trick.
But instead of a confession, Alfie reaches into his pocket and slides a beat-up black marble composition notebook across the table.
The kind you used in grade school,
Yeah.
right? It's tattered, held together with hope and tape. And on the front, it's handwritten. It says, "For the boss, to be read upon my death."
And Alfie looks at the detective in the eye and says, "This isn't a crime story. It's a love story."
Wow.
Okay, so let's unpack this, because inside that notebook is the story we're diving into today. It's a memoir, but it's also kind of an instruction manual.
It's a confession of a life lived with a secret so big it essentially isolated Alfie from the rest of humanity.
And Alfie claims that the reason he won that money and the reason his life has been this series of tragic near misses is because he has a power.
The power of twice.
Twice. It sounds simple, right?
Yeah.
But the implications are just mind-bending. According to the notebook, Alfie has the ability to live any moment of his life over again.
But we need to be really clear about the mechanics here, because the rules of this magic system define the whole tragedy of the story.
Yeah, this isn't Groundhog Day.
No, not at all. He can't loop 1,000 times until he learns to play the piano perfectly. And it's not Back to the Future, where he's changing history on a grand scale.
Right. He's not killing Hitler. He's not investing in Apple in 1980.
Exactly. The rule is somatic and verbal. He has to tap his body, usually his chest, and say or forcefully think the word twice.
And the moment he does that,
his consciousness snaps back to a previous point in that same day. Or, if he focuses hard enough, maybe a bit earlier, but usually within the immediate timeline of the event.
it's a tactical reset button for his own life.
Yeah.
But there are limitations. And this is where it gets really interesting. He can only do it once per event.
That is the crucial constraint. You get one do-over. You try a conversation, it goes badly. You say twice, you go back 10 minutes, you try again. Whatever happens that second time.
That's it.
That is permanent. That is the reality that gets written in ink. You cannot jump back a third time to fix the fix. You have to live with the consequences of the second attempt.
And there's another rule that I think is even more just psychologically heavy. He retains the memory of the first attempt, but nobody else does.
Yes. This creates what I like to call the ghost life.
the ghost life.
Yeah. Imagine you have a massive argument with your spouse. You scream, you say terrible things, maybe you break a vase, you use twice, you go back, you swallow your anger, and you have a pleasant dinner instead. To your spouse, that pleasant dinner is the only thing that ever happened. But you are sitting there eating your mashed potatoes, remembering the sound of the vase breaking. You're remembering the look of hatred in their eyes.
That is incredibly isolating. You're walking around with a head full of ghosts. You're carrying traumas and conversations and intimacies that literally no one else on Earth believes ever existed.
That is the core of Alfie's existence. He is a man out of sync with his own timeline. So our mission today is to crack open this notebook. We're going to trace the life of Alfie Logan from the plains of Kenya all the way to that interrogation room in Nassau.
We want to understand the ethics of this power, the burden of this ghost life, and ultimately answer the question, did he use this power to rob the casino? And if he did, was it worth it?
Okay, let's do it.
Let's start at the beginning, the origin story. The notebook takes us all the way back to 1967. Alfie is 8 years old, living in Mombasa, Kenya. His parents are missionaries.
And the picture he paints is one of just profound loneliness. He's a stranger in a strange land. He hates the heat, which is a recurring theme for him. He misses Philadelphia.
Yeah.
His entire social circle consists of two beings, an elephant named Lalu and a little girl he nicknames Princess.
Princess is actually Gianna Rule.
Yeah.
And for everyone listening, put a pin in that name. Gianna is the sun that Alfie's entire universe orbits around. They have this beautiful, idyllic childhood friendship.
But the inciting incident for the power, it isn't a happy one. It's a trauma.
It usually is.
Right. It's a Saturday. Alfie is out in a field wearing a homemade red cape, playing Superman. He's running around, arms out, pretending to fly, pretending to be invincible.
But while he's playing make-believe hero, reality is crashing down back at his house.
His mother is suffering a pulmonary embolism.
And he misses it. He's playing Superman while his mother is dying. He comes home later, the red cape is gone, he threw it out the window on the way back, and he finds his father just completely broken.
His mother is dead. The guilt is just absolutely crushed. I mean, he's 8 years old. He goes to bed that night, hitting himself, whispering, "Stupid, stupid," just wishing with every fiber of his being that he could have that day back.
And then he wakes up.
But something is wrong. The light is the same as yesterday. He looks at the chair, and his red cape is there, the one he threw away,
His father walks into the room.
and says the exact same sentence about breakfast that he said the morning before.
Most kids would be confused.
Yeah.
Alfie, for some reason, he understands immediately. He's back. He has a second chance. So what does he do?
He doesn't go play Superman. He runs to his mother's room.
And this interaction gives me chills every time I read it. He stands by her bed. She wakes up. She sees him. And she doesn't say good morning. She looks at him with this deep, knowing sadness and asks,
"Alfie, have you been here before?"
She knows.
She knows, because it turns out this isn't a random mutation, it's hereditary. His mother has the power too. And in that moment, she reveals her own secret history. She tells him that she lived a whole different life before this one, a life where she was, perhaps more selfish, more focused on herself. And she used her twice to come back and to be a better mother and a better wife.
That is a lot for an 8-year-old to process. But Alfie's immediate reaction is, great, we have magic, I can save you. We can call a doctor right now.
And this is the first hard lesson. The rule of mortality. His mother stops him. She tells him, "I want and you want, and God does what God wants."
She explains that death is a fixed point. You can't stop it.
Even with the power to rewind time, she dies that morning.
She does. So what changes?
The way she dies is different. In the first timeline, she died alone and scared while her son was playing in a field. In the second timeline, the one that sticks, she dies holding Alfie's hand.
Oh.
She spends her final moments listing the things she loves about him.
That's heartbreaking, but it's also, is it better? Is that a better outcome?
That's the question Alfie asks in the notebook. He traded the trauma of absence, of not being there, for the trauma of witnessing. He watched the light go out of her eyes.
So he saved her from dying alone, but he burdened himself with the memory of her death.
Exactly. It sets the tone for his entire life. The power allows you to change the experience of an event, but often you cannot change the outcome.
So Alfie grows up with this secret. He moves back to Philadelphia with his grieving father, and as he hits adolescence, we see him start to experiment with the power.
Yeah, and it's not always noble. He starts to use it for let's call it reputation management.
Reputation management, I like that.
The witch's house incident in 1968 is the perfect example. It's classic peer pressure. His friends dare him to knock on the door of a spooky neighbor.
Right.
In the first timeline, he's a terrified kid. He knocks once, panics, and runs away crying. His friends mock him. He's branded a coward.
Which, at that age, feels like the end of the world.
Totally. So he taps his chest. Twice. He goes back. He suppresses the fear. He marches up to the door, bangs on it, yells, "Come out, witch!" and scares his friends away with his bravery.
He realizes he can edit his personality. He can curate the version of Alfie the world sees. If he acts cowardly, he can just delete it and replace it with bravery.
But then this escalates. It goes from fixing a moment of embarrassment to something ethically.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the stepmother.
Oof. Yeah, this is where it gets murky.
This is the section where you might start to lose sympathy for Alfie, or at least really question his morality. His father, Lawrence, is lonely. He meets an Emin named Adeline at a bowling alley.
And they hit it off, fall in love, and get married quickly.
And Alfie hates her. Not because she's evil or mean, but because she represents change. She brings in new furniture. She puts his mom's photo in a closet. To Alfie, she is actively erasing his mother.
So he decides to erase her.
Yeah. He treats reality like a film strip he can just cut and splice. He researches the exact date and time his father met Adeline. He travels back to that specific Tuesday, and he stages an intervention.
But not a conversation.
Yeah.
He brutally injures himself?
Right. He gets on his skateboard and intentionally crashes. He wipes out hard enough to need stitches. He's bleeding. He's in pain. He forces his father to take him to the hospital instead of going to his bowling league.
And because his father is at the
He
hospital.
never goes to the alley. He never meets Adeline. The marriage never happens. Adeline is wiped from their timeline completely.
That is, wow. I mean, think about the power dynamic there. He inflicted physical pain on himself to inflict emotional isolation on his father, all to preserve his own comfort and his mother's memory.
It's highly manipulative. He denied his father happiness because he wasn't ready to move on. And again, that ghost life kicks in. Alfie remembers Adeline. He remembers the furniture, the arguments, the wedding. But his father just remembers a night spent in the ER with his clumsy son. Alfie is the only person on Earth who knows that Adeline was ever part of their family.
It's this theme of control. He thinks he can engineer the perfect life if he just edits enough scenes. And this hubris follows him right into high school, where he applies the twice method to dating.
The research method. This is almost funny if it weren't so hollow. He has a huge crush on Joanne Donegan. She's the popular girl, totally out of his league.
Right.
And Alfie talks to his best friend, Wesley, about it. And Wesley, who is really the moral compass of this story, jokes, "Man, if I had two chances, I'd use the first one to just find out what she likes and the second one to be that guy."
And Alfie takes that literally.
He spends an entire timeline just gathering data. It's like Groundhog Day weaponized for romance. He finds out she likes David Bowie, she hates onions, she loves the musical Pippin, she likes guys with sideburns.
He finds out she only dates athletes, so.
In the second timeline, he joins the varsity basketball team. He spends a whole summer practicing a sport he hates, growing sideburns he hates, listening to music he doesn't care about.
And it works. He becomes her perfect algorithm match.
It works until it doesn't, because the trap snaps shut.
Because you can fake your interests.
But you can't change another person's soul. After months of dating, he discovers that Joanne is deeply racist. She makes a derogatory comment about Wesley, who is black.
And suddenly all that work, all those repeated days, it's all just garbage.
It's a wasted life. He realizes he spent 6 months curating a persona for a person he doesn't actually like. The lesson here is so sharp. You can manipulate circumstances to get what you want, but you cannot change a person's core character. Joanne was always going to be Joanne, no matter how much Alfie edited himself.
Speaking of Wesley, though, this is where the story shifts from, teenage drama back to life and death tragedy. Wesley is the older brother figure Alfie needs.
He is. But Wesley joins the Marines to pay for college.
And Alfie tries to play God again.
He does. He travels back to spend a bonus day with Wesley before he deploys. And in a moment of desperation, he breaks the rules. He tells Wesley about the power. He essentially says, "I'm from the future. Do not take the ship assignment. Take the training center job."
Because Alfie knows that the ship assignment leads to the Koh Tang incident in Cambodia, where Marines die. He's trying to steer Wesley away from a specific historical death trap.
And Wesley trusts him. He takes the safe desk job at the training center in the U.S. He avoids the war zone.
What?
But a boiler explodes at the training center. A freak accident. Wesley is killed instantly.
And the timing of the explosion.
It happened at the exact same moment the attack in Cambodia took place.
That is absolutely terrifying. It implies that death has a schedule. It reinforces his mother's warning. Death is a fixed point.
Right. It doesn't matter if you're in a jungle in Cambodia or at a desk in the U.S. If your clock runs out, it runs out.
It creates this sense of fatalism in Alfie. I mean, if you can't save your best friend with a time machine, what's the point?
He spirals into depression. We see him working as a plumber, just drifting. And that brings us to this skydiving incident.
This part is dark. He goes skydiving, but he jumps out of the plane without waiting for the instructor to check his chute. He's testing fate.
Hurt seeks hurt, he writes in the notebook. He's flirting with death because he misses his mom and Wesley. He falls, the ground rushing up, and at the last second, the instructor catches him, where he manages to deploy the chute.
But he uses the power to escape the consequences.
Right. He yells twice to escape the trauma and wakes up back at his plumbing job. He's using the power to experience near death just to feel something.
It's a reckless existence until the light comes back in. Section 4, the great love, Gianna Rule.
She returns. They meet by total chance, or maybe it's fate, at the Miami Zoo. She's a photographer now, taking pictures of elephants.
And she recognizes him.
Instantly. Princess Alfie? The connection is immediate and deep.
And this kicks off the central romance of the notebook. He follows her to Boston University. But notice the dynamic here. He is so intimidated by her, so terrified of losing this second chance at their friendship, that he stops being authentic.
He edits everything. Every awkward joke, every stumble, every bad hair day. He uses twice constantly to polish his image.
But then he engages in what the notebook calls the sexual experiment. And we really have to talk about the ethics of this.
Yeah, this is complicated. He's inexperienced. He's terrified of disappointing Gianna physically.
Sure.
So his roommate, Elliot, sets him up with random girls at parties. Alfie sleeps with them to gain experience, learns what to do and what not to do.
And then erases the encounters using twice.
It's deeply problematic behavior.
Yeah.
He's essentially using these women as practice dummies. To them, the event never happened. But he keeps the skills.
He's building a relationship with Gianna on a foundation of falsehoods. He's presenting a final draft of himself, confident, experienced, while hiding all the messy, rough drafts that make a person human.
He's trying to hack intimacy. But despite all this manipulation, the most tragic moment of their relationship is the one he can't keep. The gimbal storm.
Oh man, this captures the true pain of the ghost life. They agree to meet in Philadelphia. A massive hurricane hits the city.
They get trapped in a revolving door at Gimbal's department store.
It sounds miserable, trapped in glass while rain is lashing down. But it becomes this perfect, suspended moment. They are isolated from the world.
They start laughing. They talk for hours. Alfie confesses his love. They share their first kiss through the glass of the door. It is cinematic. It is the perfect beginning to their love story.
And then the crash. Alfie finally gets home, floating on cloud 9, only to find out that his father has been in a horrific car accident.
Because Alfie had the car.
Exactly. Because Alfie took the car to go see Gianna, his father was walking or took a different transport and was hit. His father loses his leg.
So here's the impossible choice. Keep the perfect memory, the confession, the kiss, the start of the relationship, and let his dad be an amputee for the rest of his life.
Or go back, give up the car, save the leg, and erase the date.
He chooses his father. He has to. He goes back. He gives his dad the keys. He saves the leg. But the cost is that the Gimbals moment, that perfect intimacy, never happened for Gianna.
She thinks he stood her up.
Or they just never met up that day. The moment is gone. Alfie is the sole keeper of their perfect beginning.
That has to create such a distance. You're looking at the woman you love, remembering the taste of that kiss, remembering the way she looked at you.
And she's looking at you like a friend. You are constantly out of sync.
It forces him to start from scratch. And this leads to the biggest revelation about the nature of the power. They eventually visit his grandmother, Yaya Nina, in a nursing home in Florida.
And surprise.
It runs in the family. Yaya has the power
It
tip.
seems to be passed down, yeah.
Yeah.
And Yaya Nina drops the absolute rule of the universe on him. She tells him the story of George, a man she loved in her youth.
Right.
She erased him to please her parents, but when she realized her mistake and tried to go back to him to recreate the courtship, the spark was gone.
She told them, love is the only thing you can't do twice.
That is the thesis statement. Why? Because love is discovery. It's the thrill of the unknown. If you undo a moment of authentic emotional connection and try to script it a second time, it becomes a performance.
It degrades. It's like a photocopy of a photocopy. It loses its sharpness.
And this explains why his high school crush, Lisa, lost interest in him in the second timeline. Authenticity is a one-time offer. You can fix a broken leg, you can fix a bad grade, but you cannot engineer passion.
Which makes Alfie and Gianna's eventual marriage even more significant. They do find their way back to each other the hard way.
They move to New York, struggling artists. He's in music PR, she's a photographer, and they finally get married.
In the Allegheny National Forest, it's a small, weird, beautiful ceremony officiated by a store owner named Dozy. And I love the ritual Dozy makes them do.
The taste test. He makes them taste cayenne pepper, lemon, vinegar, and honey.
Passion, disappointment, bitterness, and sweetness.
It's an acceptance of the full spectrum of life. It's an acknowledgement that you can't just have the honey, you have to take the vinegar too. It's a rejection of Alfie's whole desire to edit out the bad parts.
But he does try to cheat one last time with the luck money. He wants to give Gianna everything. He wants to buy her a massive diamond ring.
So he travels back, he buys a computer stock he knows will skyrocket, he cashes out, buys the rock. But when he gives it to her,
she hates it.
She calls it luck money.
Mm-hmm.
She says it feels wrong. Even without knowing about the power, she can sense the inauthenticity of it. It lacks the weight of struggle.
So Alfie undoes it. He realizes his mother and Yaya were right. You can't cheat your way to value.
It seems like every time he tries to use the power for personal gain, the universe just slaps his hand. Until we get to the hero moment in Mexico.
This is his redemption arc. He's on assignment for Life magazine with a runner named Jamie. Jamie is deaf.
Right, and a bank robbery goes down while they are together.
In the first timeline, the gunmen burst in. Jamie doesn't hear them. He doesn't get down. He gets shot in the leg. His running career is over instantly.
Alfie watches this happen, and he doesn't hesitate. Twice!
He goes back. The gunmen burst in. But this time, Alfie doesn't hide. He tackles Jamie.
He saves the runner. But in the chaos, Alfie gets shot in the shoulder.
And his instinct is to fix it right. He tries to yell twice again.
Twice, but nothing happens. The rule is absolute. You get one do-over per event. He used his one jump to save Jamie.
Now he has to live with the bullet wound.
It's the first time he really accepts a severe consequence, a permanent physical scar for the sake of someone else. And Jamie goes on to win Olympic gold. Alfie becomes a minor celebrity as the man who saved him.
It marks his transition from a man trying to be perfect to a man trying to be good.
Which brings us all the way back to the present day. The interrogation room. The dying man. The casino win. Detective Laporta has finished reading the notebook.
And he's torn. He's a rational cop. Part of him wants to dismiss this as the, hallucinations of a dying man. But the details are too specific. The dates match up.
And Laporta is looking at his own life, his failed marriages, his regrets. And he's seduced by the idea. He's thinking, man, what I wouldn't give for a twice button.
But he still has a job to do. He looks at the evidence. Alfie bet on 36 red 3 times. The dealer, a guy named Toussaint, swears the ball was rigged. He says it moved unnaturally.
But here's the mechanic Alfie used. It wasn't a rig ball. It was pure information. He stood at the table. He watched the wheel spin. It landed on 36 red. He shouted twice.
He jumps back 5 minutes.
Exactly. He's back before the spin, but he has the memory. He knows it lands on 36 red, so he bets everything.
He wins.
He watches the next spin. It lands on 36 red again, twice. He goes back. He bets again.
But here is the catch. If he wins the money in the final timeline, he has to keep it. He can't jump back a 4th time to undo the crime, or he'd lose the cash.
Precisely. He committed a crime. He exploited a loophole in reality to rob the casino. He knows he's going to get caught. He knows he might die in a jail cell, but he doesn't care.
Because he's dying anyway.
And he needs to leave something behind. Laporta reveals the financial paper trail. Alfie didn't keep the money. He wired it. Most of it went to Gianna, who was living in Florida.
Okay.
But a chunk, $200,000, went to a mysterious account in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. That feels random.
It does, until you remember the beginning. Kenya. The elephant. Africa was the only place Alfie was ever truly innocent. The notebook doesn't say explicitly, but I suspect that money is a donation.
Maybe to an elephant sanctuary.
Or to the village he grew up in. It's him closing the loop.
So the climax happens. Laporta drops a bombshell. He says, "We found Gianna Rule. She's here. On the island."
And Alfie is calm. He admits they aren't married anymore. But then Laporta asks him the question that really matters, the question that cuts through the crime and the magic.
Yeah.
He asks, if you could go back, would you?
And Alfie's answer is cryptic but beautiful. He says, suspicion and belief cannot share the same bed.
He chose belief. He chose to believe that his life, with all its edits and ghosts and pain, was worth it because of the love he felt. He accepted the burden of the ghost life to give Gianna the best version of himself he could manage, even if it eventually fell apart.
It's a heavy trade-off. He lived a life of edits to get the girl, but in doing so, he distanced himself from her. He made himself a stranger in his own marriage.
That's the paradox of the Notebook, the first draft of life, the one with the stuttering, the mistakes, the bad haircuts, the wrong turns. That's the authentic one. That's the human one. By polishing his life, Alfie made it smoother, but he made it lonely.
So here's the question for you listening right now. If I handed you that black marble notebook and told you that you could tap your chest and say twice, would you take it?
It's tempting. God, it's tempting. But remember the cost. You can fix your biggest regret. You can save the marriage, take the job, say the right thing. But the person you became because of those mistakes, that person is erased. And you are the only soul on earth who remembers the way it used to be. You become a ghost in your own life.
I think I'd stick with my mistakes. They make for better stories at parties.
And an honest life.
That's it for this deep dive into the life of Alfie Logan. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next timeline.
Or maybe we already have.
Twice.